Last night here in San Diego, the caravan showed its propensity for violence once again when a large group of people congregated on the hill up behind me at about 2 in the morning. And then instead of trying to come north or surrender, they decided to assault Border Patrol agents with a hail of rocks. Our agents responded with the least amount of force they possibly could to protect themselves in the border, and did actually secure the border in this area. One agent was hit square in the face with a rock. Luckily he had his helmet and shield on and was not seriously injured, but the violence associated with this caravan just continues.
The wall that's going in, that 18-foot high wall, you're not going to be able to make it back over that as quickly, and it's going to give us an upper hand, and we can systematically focus on these smugglers and start dismantling those organizations more than just catching the illegal aliens that cross with them.
As the chief for San Diego sector, I get a lot of questions about operations, what works, what doesn't work, and even what areas we cover, what our responsibilities are. Over the next several weeks, as time permits, I'm going to put out a series of videos trying to answer some of the most frequently submitted questions. Starts out with what does San Diego sector cover? San Diego sector is responsible for 60 miles of land border. Starts at the beach and then goes inland from there. We butt up with El Centro sector. We're also responsible for maintaining security on the coast in lockstep with U.S. Coast Guard and our CBP partners. San Diego is featured in the media quite often because we are the proof of concept for the border wall system. I have 12 miles here in San Diego between Tijuana and San Diego, where we have double fencing, we have roads. A lot of that area has technology such as lights and cameras. Last video I talked a little bit about San Diego sector in general and touched on the infrastructure. Talk a little bit more today. As mentioned before, we have 12 miles in San Diego sector out of 60 that have double fencing, lights, and in part of that, some technology and cameras. We also have 14 miles where we have no fencing, no primary border barrier at all. That area is patrolled on more traditional methods, if you will, where agents have to take out their technology, their equipment, and track people. We use ATVs, we use horses, we even have mountain bikes, traditional vehicles, and a lot of aircraft to patrol those areas. The reason I have more resources out there, though, is because I was able to pull 150 agents out of the area where I have the double fencing in the urban area. I've recently been asked by several people, what would a border wall do to narcotics flows at the ports of entry or even into the country? Border security is holistic. We don't have a one solution angle. We approach everything. But I will tell you, early in my career, we had vehicle loads, multiple vehicle loads coming across the border between the ports of entry with thousands of pounds of narcotics in each vehicle. That involved high-speed pursuits in the public, a lot of people being put at risk. The border infrastructure that we've been put in place now and that we want to continue to expand prevents that. It forces the smugglers to spend more money creating hidden compartments in vehicles and trying to sneak through the ports of entry. That's a controlled environment where we can layer technology on technology to find those loads, and we're going to get better and better at it. Without the border infrastructure between the ports of entry, there would be no reason for them to spend that extra money and try to hide and blend in with the people coming through the border. The big purpose of this series is to try to answer frequently asked questions. I'm getting a lot of questions about wall and our enforcement strategy and what we really need along the border. I think it's important for everyone to know that the information I'm providing you is based off of decades of experience with U.S. Border Patrol. It's the same message, the same requirements that we've identified through several different administrations on both sides of the aisle. The wall here behind me that's currently under construction buys my agents a significant amount of time. Vehicles used to be able to turn off this freeway right into the United States. There's an example of one that I seized back early in my career with over 1,500 pounds of marijuana. This infrastructure buys us time so we can leverage the technology in other areas or even in this area, and I'm going to talk about the technology in the next video. But we have to be able to win the time distance game, and we have to slow people down with barriers.